20,000 mile service because we went over 21. Well, that was unfortunate. What's up, Scooter? It's a bright day here in Virginia. I'm out here outside getting Sophie cleaned up. We just finished her 20,000 mile service up at the dealer because she, over the course of the trip to the Badlands, she passed 21,000 miles, so almost 22,000 miles. So we had to get her serviced. And I figured before I got the bags and stuff put away, I would go ahead and do that review that I've been talking about doing on the Leather Pros, because now we have over 4,500 miles on the Leather Pros, as well as 15 hotel nights and a camping trip in there, which you guys probably didn't know about unless you saw something on Instagram. And that was only one bag, just the clutch side, but it still counts. So we've been using the bags through various conditions for a bit now, and I thought I would do a review and tell you what I like about the bags and all the things that I don't like about the bags. And there are a few kind of gotchas, for me anyway, with the Leather Pros. So there's Sophie in all her glory with the Leather Pros. And as you may already know, or maybe you don't know, so I'll just mention it here. The Leather Pros that I went with are the Retro Series V3 for the M8 Softail saddlebags. And a couple of things about these is they have the Leather Pros quick release system on them, which we're going to talk about. And it's the model that allows you to mount these without having to relocate your turn signals. I did not want to go through that again or mess with the turn signals again, so that was one of the reasons I went with these. Now, this model will actually be a little smaller than the ones that require you to relocate your tail lights, but for me that was worth the compromise. I think the bags actually look pretty good on Sophie. I like the smaller ones, I think, a little bit more than the full-size Leather Pros. Now, with this easy mount system, they do fit fairly close to the bike, but you do see a bit of a gap down here. It's not really noticeable unless you're looking like dead on from the rear. Okay, so the good things, they're good bags. They hold quite a bit of stuff. The way I had stuff set up for packing for the ride out to South Dakota was I had clothing items in this bag, and that bag, without being expanded, will definitely hold several days worth of clothes. And in this one, I had things like my toolkit and maintenance things for the bike, as well as for the first part of the trip, my rain gear, and then also my sports sandals. So that's kind of how I split it up, but they held a lot of stuff. I did not have to expand these until we got to the museum at Harley-Davidson, and there's a zipper under here that allows you to unzip all the way around the bags and get about another 2 inches out. I did have to do that at the museum because we got to that place and they were running like this crazy sale on stuff, on merchandise, you know, buy 2 shirts at 75% off, get 2 free, and a crazy deal on leather jackets and stuff. So we ended up buying way too much stuff, and I had to use these. I'll show you here the zipper. I had to use that expansion feature, which is, this is the expansion zipper here. This will unzip all the way around both sides, and then you pull this out and you get more volume. The quality of the bags are really nice. I will say the top marks up fairly easily, so you need to be a little careful. I don't know if you can make this out in the video. I've got 2 lines that were cut into here, and that was when PJ actually readjusted these on a luggage cart. I think when we were in South Dakota, in Sioux Falls, and didn't realize he was setting the leather piece up against my top case, the hinges on that, and they kind of cut those creases in there. But you know, whatever, they're going to get marked up anyway. But I would say you just need to be a little careful with those. The really cool thing about the bags from a travel perspective was it was really, really nice to be able to get to a hotel, pop these things off, put them on a luggage cart, get in the room, and then just wheel them back down in the morning to reload them. That was super convenient, and I think to me that's one of the big selling points on these. All right, so to show you how easy it is to get these off, we're gonna reach down here, I'm gonna lift up on that tab. So you see when you get to the hotel at night, it's very easy to get those off, carry your stuff in. Now getting it back on can be a little bit of a trick if you have the hold-fast system like I have. You'll notice that right here, this gets really close to that hold-fast system, so you kind of gotta lean that out a little bit and then push that down. This is another reason why, if you saw the install video that I did, I told you to make sure that you, on the rear here, you use the 1/4 inch or 1/2 inch spacer to push this out a little bit so it gets further away from that hardware. So that's it. Thank you, Miss Percy, for the hand. I think I showed you in the other video, they do lock. They lock to the bike. The bags themselves don't lock. But once you mount them, there is, put a key in here and then you lock them. So that's cool. Then they can't be taken off the bike. But again, you can't lock the bags themselves. The other nice thing is you have some, as far as storage, you have another nice little pocket out here that holds quite a bit of stuff. So this is on each of the bags. So I use this to hold some microfiber cloth, some cleaning materials, little cruise tool set if I get to very quickly. Anything else that I needed to get, you know, out of the bag quickly or throw it in real quick. So that was cool. All in all, like I said, love the bags. That being said, there are some things that you need to be aware of that I found, and let's start with the first thing. You can see I didn't really clean these up real well after we got back up. I'm still getting stuff situated. I did not treat the outside of the nylon bags with anything. I wanted to basically see if we got caught in rain, how good were they as is. I did suspect that there was going to be a problem if we got caught in rain, and it proved to be correct. The bags themselves did a really good job. We were caught in a really bad storm, and we were in that storm for hours. No water got through the fabric of the bag. I did, however, get some water in both of the bags, and it came in exactly where I thought it would. If you'll notice, the fabric here, the nylon, there's a flap that goes over both the zippers. Obviously, you've got the leather up here keeping water from getting down there, but also this is kind of, the zipper's kind of protected from here. However, if you follow the zipper along the front, and you get right down into here to the bottom, I don't know if you can see this, I'll take these off and take a picture. Those flaps don't really cover the zippers all the way down around the bottom. See, this is exposed all the way to here. It's probably about 3 inches or so where that zipper is exposed there, and it's exposed somewhat on the back. Now, I believe all of the leather pros are actually handmade, so this could vary sample to sample, but both of my bags have those pieces there where the zippers are not covered. This one's pretty hefty. So what ended up happening was, after that day in the rain, when we got to the hotel, I had a small amount of water and in the bottom of the bag right above here. These are not weather sealed zippers. You can see here, let's back up the top. I think they're YKK zippers, but they are not weather sealed, so that water seeped through that zipper, and got a little bit in there, enough to get, I put up a couple of paper towel segments or cardboard segments in there just to test, to absorb anything that got through, and the corner pieces did get wet. But that's easily rectifiable with a little hack. I also brought a hefty bag, one for each of the saddlebags. So using this as a bag liner, I didn't have any issues with my stuff getting wet. And even before we got caught in that storm, I had all my stuff was inside that hefty bag liner. So just the test cardboard that I had in place got wet. But you need to be aware of that. Not a major showstopper, but definitely something that you want to be aware of. And I would definitely use a hefty bag or something to provide a liner. That's the first thing I really don't like a lot about the Leather Pros. Now let's go on to number two. So the number two thing I don't like so much about the Leather Pros is the docking hardware. Shows here. Again, one day in rain, I wiped everything dry. But I've heard actually from Moto Ricky Ricardo, he has the same issue with his, and that's rust. You know, I would have not expected the hardware that's shipped with the kit to rust as quickly and easily as it has, but it definitely has. It's also rusted on the, or also have rust buildup on the mounting brackets on the back of the bags as well. And to be truthful, I believe all the rust started even before we went on the trip. So it wasn't just the rain that caused this. So another item I don't care for with the Leather Pros, and again, you'll see that this is rusted. Can you hold that right there, Miss Percy? Thank you. We're just going to show this part right here. So you can see this has already started to build up a little rust here as well. But this little bolt here, or I thought it was a rivet at first, but it's not. It kind of plays in and out. Was giving me trouble. I didn't realize this was the cause, but it took me several days to figure it out. But I'd go to put this bag on, and the mechanism would not lock because this little button head is actually pulling out and catching on this ridge right here. So there's no way that you can get the clamp. Can you pull back just a little bit? Right about there. So there's no way for you to get that clamp to close without making sure that that's pushed in, then that will close and lock. The problem for me with this one is this is my exhaust side bag. So naturally it's leaning as you put it on the docking points, which causes this thing to fall out and then get caught on this ridge. So it took me a while to figure out that was the cause. And then what you have to do is kind of push in on this arm in order to get that to seat behind that, and then it will actually fit, no problem. All right, but that took me a while to get figured out. So that's the other thing that yeah, really didn't like about the bags. I'm going to send thank you, Miss Percy. I'm going to send a note to Leather Pros about that to see if there's a fix for that, or if it's a known issue, or if there's something they can do. I'll let you know what they say. But all in all, I'm really happy with the bags. They did what I needed them to do. They work really well. You know, there's couple of glitches aside. You know, just some minor stuff. I would highly recommend, though, if you're looking for saddlebags for the Fat Bob, and you've swapped out your exhaust, because you cannot use both of these without doing that. Now they do sell a clutch side only, or I think an exhaust side only, so you can buy them in singles, so you could go that route. But if you've got the stock exhaust, the only way to use these bags would be to replace the exhaust, which is one of the reasons that I went with the TBR. And yeah, not everybody thought that was a smart decision. Sorry about that, but as you guys know, everything in motorcycling is really about balancing compromises to get what you want out of the experience, out of the machine, out of the equipment. And definitely if you want to do touring or you need storage for longer trips, then this is, you know, one of the points you got to look at and just decide, am I going to go this route? How bad do I need those bags? How bad do I want those bags? Yeah. Sorry to those of you who were disappointed that took the time to drop me a note. You know, shit is what shit is, but I'm really happy. I'm looking forward now. You know, I've got a trip up to Pennsylvania soon that'll just be for like a weekend, over 4th of July weekend. I'm just using these bags. I don't need to take anything else, you know? So if I've just got a couple of overnights somewhere, then I've got a setup now that'll work. And then, of course, as I mentioned in the first video I did about the install on the bags, I think it was, I've also modified my rare bags, my small leather ones, so that I can just mount on here when I'm not using the Leather Pros, and that's what I'm going to do now, is put those in place. So you guys have a good one. I hope this answered all your questions you had on the Leather Pros. If it didn't, drop a question down below and I'll make sure I get an answer to you, and then I'll let you know what Leather Pros says in response to the stuff that the messages that I asked. I'll let you know what Leather Pros says in response to the messages I'm going to send them about the problems that I experienced with the bags and the rust, as well as that little rivet piece. Fucker took me forever to figure out what was going wrong with that, but I figured it out. Deuces, man. Have a good one. Bye.